NRL round 23 then, the Indigenous round. We'll get straight into the first game, which was Thursday's matchup. Gold Coast Titans 8, Cowboys 30. It was 18-4 at halftime, so the Titans were well in it. Jackson Purdue sin-bin after 7 minutes in the second half. I thought it was pivotal because I thought the Titans had a couple of chances to get themselves back in it. Philip Sami got himself a double for the Titans. And as soon as Purdue returned from the sin-bin, he scored a sensational 60-metre try from a Drinkwater pass for him through the middle. I thought it was incredible. And then the final one to see it off was Helam Luke, who I thought was outstanding. Another Scott Drinkwater try assist. Did you see much of this game on Thursday, Paul?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I thought I thought the Cowboys would get a result. I thought they're a team that can beat any other team on their day. I know that they had the shock result against the Roosters a couple of weeks ago after the Derby win the week before against the Broncos. But Drinkwater, he's going to be a big miss for them in 2027.
Yeah,
off to the Dragons, obviously. But great result for Toddy Payton and their team. Keeps them in the hunt. So they're certainly a team that can beat any other team on the day.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, the win puts the Cowboys back into the top 8. But the Titans, like I said, they've got a very young spine. I really like the spine. I think Coach Hannay just needs a bit more time, another year or two, and to try and get them in contention. But we'll move into the first of the two games on Friday. The first one up was Warriors Panthers. Awesome game, one of the best that I've watched so far this season. Warriors running out 28-12 winners against the Panthers. A pivotal moment again. Alamotti sin-bin and Isaiah Yeo pec injury, which is going to be massive for the end of the season. It depends how serious it is. Depends how much he's missing. Because if he's out for the season, a strong opinion. But I think no Yeo, no premiership is what I would say. But Luke Metcalf scored a double on a return. Absolutely fantastic players. We've just spoken about Scott Drinkwater. Luke Metcalf also going to the Dragons. They are two serious players that they've signed. And also just a little pointer to add in. The award for the best forward pass that wasn't given as a forward pass from Lindsay Smith. I don't know if you've seen it. But yeah, the officials completely missed it. I've never seen a forward pass so far forward. Did you see this game, Paul?
No, I didn't see it all. I've seen the highlights of, but I thought it could have gone either way, the game. I tipped the Panthers. The Warriors at home are a real team, and I guess it's really important to finish top 2 for them.
Yeah, it is.
But obviously there are 2 points outside the top 2. I think Roosters Penrith this week, so they could get one of them. It's the Warriors just quietly go about the business. They were shock loss a week ago. And they just keep ticking over and. Whoever plays in spine positions, it's not a superstar that they're replacing as such.
No.
So everybody just understands the job. I'm a big fan of Andrew Webster. We've spoken about him before on this pod, Dan, and his staff, Richard Agar's down there, and they just do a really good job, and they're really tough to beat at home. So if they did get a top 2 place, then you would absolutely nail them on for a grand final place.
Yeah.
Playing the 2 games at home. So, a really big result, and it fires a shot, doesn't it, to the top 2? That
it does. Yeah.
If you meet us in a playoff game, then we can get you. So big result for Andrew Webster and the Warriors, and for the Panthers, a big game this weekend.
Yeah, it is. And going back to the Panthers. Isaiah Yeo, how big of a miss is he? I'll give you the final 4 games that they've got that he could potentially miss. So obviously, as we know, they've got the Roosters tomorrow. They travel away to the Melbourne Storm, which they're very indifferent at the moment. You don't know which side you're going to come up against. Then they're at home to the Canterbury Bulldogs, and then they've got the West Tigers. So without him and his direction and his work in the middle, you could see the Panthers losing another 1, maybe 2 games in them remaining 4, and that could be pivotal, couldn't it, for the top 2 finish?
Well, I think scans have shown that it's not season-ending in terms of surgery. So He's not going to have surgery, so it's going to be a case of rehabilitation and suck it up and see where he's at.
Yeah.
I think he will make the playoffs. I'm not sure he'll play in the next month. It's a tough injury to get over if you've even stretched or torn it, even grade 1. So, I agree with you. I don't think they can win the Premiership without Isaiah Yeo. And he's pivotal to what they do in the middle of the field and squaring up with Cleary and the other halfback partner, which one that is. Squaring up at the line and playing straight and starting off playing square. So, and not only that, he cleans up. He missed to fix it and missed to clean up. And in the middle of the field, he does so much unseen work. He knows when to run, when to pass, how to clean up, where to be. Whether he needs to get around the corner defensively or whether he needs to stay where he is. And I think he's pivotal to the Panthers. And I don't see a Premiership if they don't have him on the field.
No, I agree. Move on to the second game that was on Friday. Sydney Roosters 20, Canterbury Bulldogs 18. Very close. Another game that could have gone either way. This was a really good watch. I give, first of all, Billy Smith a mention. I know I spoke about him quite a bit because he's been picked for England. He scored a double again, playing on the wing again. And before we go into the game, if he's playing so well and scoring so many tries in the NRL and Brian McDermott's watching him, he's not going to displace Dom Young. The other wing is between Matty Ashton and Tom Johnstone, I would imagine. Do you think there is a world that we live in that Billy Smith could displace both of them and we start with Dom Young and Billy Smith on the wings?
Yeah, of course there is. Tom's in good form. Tom's in decent form. Matty's back from a serious injury. He scored. I think he's scored now 9 in 8 games.
Yeah,
Matty. So there's some good wingers. We've got some good wingers. But if you're talking about playing in the top competition, Dom Young and Billy Smith playing both on the wing for their clubs respectively, then you'd have to have a look at them. Billy can play in the centre as well. So we've got some luxuries in the England team, but a big result for the Roosters. Big result for the Roosters because you're right, it could have gone either way. And the Dogs are back in the hunt for the 8. I think they've dropped out the 8 now this week. Obviously, we're replaced by the Cowboys. So there's some big games at the end of the NRL season, the regular season, which will mean whichever team gets in the top 8. And if the Dogs are in the 8 or the Cowboys are in the 8, then they could easily win game 1 and displace one of the top 4.
100%. And we, like we just mentioned then, both of these teams, Roosters and Bulldogs, they've still got to play against the Panthers. So they're all scrapping for position. But during that game, Billy Smith got a double, defensively strong and good under a high ball, and that they're obviously all attributes that you need in your international team, especially when you come up against the Aussies and New Zealanders. It was only 8-2 at the half-time break. There was a great break from Bailey Hayward from 9, straight up the middle, and he set up Karaz to make it 8-all straight after half-time. And then we've seen a great solo try from Lockie Galvin, and we know how much flack he's taken over his career at the Bulldogs so far. He played very well. Salesi Fekete, I've got to mention him because he looks some player for the Roosters. I think he's going to go on to be an incredible player. Excuse me. And then during the Fekete try, it was a high bomb put up. I think it might have been Dally Cherry Evans or Sam Walker. I think it was Cherry Evans that put the bomb up, and it was an absolute calamity. So you've got the 2 Bulldogs wingers and the fullback all stood in a triangular position, and all 3 of them didn't communicate. The ball bounced. I think it hit one of the posts or the post bag, and Fekete just sprinted onto it straight under the post. And I thought that was a defining, momentum-changing moment. And then just to finish it off, our very own Victor Radley absolutely pulverised one of the Bulldogs players in the left corner. He's another must-have as well in the squad, isn't he, for England?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as I said, a big result for the Roosters. Some big performances, and without Tedesco. So, you chucked James Tedesco back in the mix with the Roosters. They're in a decent spot.
They are. We move on, triple header on Saturday. Melbourne Storm 42, Sea Eagles 20. I'll be honest with you, even though I tipped the Storm, I've been very reluctant to tip the Storm this year, and I just keep thinking Fosball's going to come back. And I think it's just completely escaped them. I think I worry for Manly. They're looking. There's the shades of Seibold come back into the squad. Like that honeymoon period is over, and they've now got to get back to basics and hard work. And I don't see where they go from here. They're going to have to recruit. But a fantastic win for Melbourne, and they've had a tough season as well, and massive injuries. But yeah, I think the Melbourne Storm did very well in this one.
Yeah, they're falling off a cliff, Manly. Since I think there was second or third in the comp after round 10, and they've just fallen off a cliff. It's a real strange one at the Seagulls. The pre-season's going to be huge for Kieran Foran and Manly. In terms of not only the recruitment, retention, and who's in the joint, but in terms of how he changes the mentality of the team from being rocks or diamonds from week to week, and or from sort of periods in a season where they won 6 straight and there was diamonds, and then they've lost so many straight now, and they're just they don't look like they know each other's names and how to play with each other. So, a big pre-season needed for Manly. I don't think they make the 8. It's as simple as that. And
and it doesn't get any easier for them this week because they take on the Dolphins, and they've been on fire for a while, haven't they? The Dolphins. I don't see them winning in that game either.
Well, that could be a 40-32 again, couldn't it?
Yeah,
because
it could. Yeah.
The Dolphins don't look like they can defend anything, but if you score more points, I believe you win the game. So they're doing all right in that respect, particularly the win over the Broncos this week. So. Yeah, an interesting end to the season for Manly in terms of how Kieran Foran goes about changing the mentality of some of the players that are in the club. Because it just seems once it spirals out of control for the Seagulls.
Yeah, I agree. It's tough for the Seagulls. Good win for the Storm, but it's a little too late for the Storm, isn't it? So. Two teams that they'll be looking to recruit well, although the Storm have started to recruit well, and they'll reset for 2027. Middle game on Saturday was Dolphins 40, Brisbane Broncos 32. Yeah. Another wild game this week. Obviously the Brisbane Derby. Ezra Mam got a double. He looked back to his best in this game. Mariner and Willison made it 24-0. The Brisbane led, and normally in an NRL game, you go 24-0 up, it's very difficult for the other team to come back. Hammer, Lemuelu, Isako bring the Dolphins back into it, 24-18. Ezra scored his hat-trick just before Herbie responded right on half-time. So at half-time, Brisbane led 30-24. It was quite a wild first half. Second half, Lemuelu scored his second, made it 30-all. Max Plath, he was sensational. I'll say it every week. He came off the bench and changed the game, just changed the momentum because you could see Brisbane were winning the arm wrestle. But Max Plath came on, changed the game. They scored the 5 tries in 26 minutes once he came onto the pitch. I think he's pivotal. He's imperative that he's in that side. But it works well because it seems to be Morgan Knowles does the first 20 minutes. They bring Max on for the middle section, and then Morgan finishes the game out normally. And it seems to be Christian Wolf's got that game plan right.
Yeah, they won't win a comp with conceding points to conceding. It's as simple as that. When premierships are won, they're won by the team that is really tight defensively. So yeah, the character in the Dolphins team was phenomenal. To go from 24-0 down to win a game of rugby league in the NRL is unheard of. I guess it's so difficult to do. So Hammer's a huge player for them. Tabu Alfidau is massive for what the Dolphins are about. Herbie's huge for them as well. So for him to go along and knock off them games is huge and pick up 2 points, but they're going to have to defend so much better than what they're defending to win a premiership. It's as simple as that. And the next step for them might be that you show all the character and you attack really well, but you've got to become a steely defensive team.
Yeah, I agree. As we just mentioned then, the Dolphins go up against the Sea Eagles, so I feel that they'll get the win again there. But the Broncos are at home to the Warriors. It's just more punishment in store for them, I think.
You say that, they'll probably beat the Warriors.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah, you can never call it. The final game of the triple header on Saturday was the Sydney Rabbitohs 28, Parramatta Eels 24. Sin bin for Brian Kelly after the first 2 minutes, I think it was. that was just ridiculous. And then it was 5 tries for the Bunnies in the first 25 minutes, including a hat-trick for AJ. Phenomenal player. He's going to go down as the best, or one of the best, surely. Jai Gray scored on the stroke of half-time to make it 28-0 to the Bunnies half-time. It was a game of 2 halves. Eels' valiant, strong comeback, scored 24 unanswered points, but it ended up finishing 28-24. It's the same again. You can't go 28-0 up and then just capitulate, because you just will not get far in the final series, will you?
No, you won't. It's as simple as that. Again, a good win for the Rabbitohs, but yeah, you just can't. You wonder what happens at half time in some of the games. I wonder what's said at half time and what's done, and what the shift in mentality is for the teams. To win 28-0 and then lose 24-0 is just a crazy game of rugby league.
Yeah.
So. The Eels are a funny team, aren't they? They've got it in them to win games like that. But again, if you start a game of rugby league so poorly, very rarely do you come back. So the Dolphins did a good job to come back and end up winning a game, and unfortunately for the Eels, they just couldn't get back over the top of what was a 28-0 lead.
No. And the Eels this week, they take on the Cowboys, which obviously the only thing that the Eels can do now is kind of disrupt the 8. But for the Bunnies, it's an absolutely huge game on Friday. They play the Bulldogs, both scrapping for the top 8. So that'll be interesting this week. First of the Sunday games, Canberra Raiders 24, Newcastle Knights 30. Knights winning out again, but a lot of points scored in the Knights game. It's the same again for the Newcastle Knights. As much as I've loved watching them this year, they have conceded quite a lot of points. But they're getting the wins. That's the most important thing. It was 18-all at half-time. And as we mentioned earlier, the turning point, big red brain explosion. The pen was reversed. So the penalty was actually given to Canberra, and they could have kicked the goal to make it. I think it was 24-all at the time, 26-all at the time. So it was 26-24. Could have kicked the conversion and gone into golden point potentially. And then all of a sudden, momentum completely switched. He gets a sin bin, penalty reversed, and then the Knights score to close out the game 30-24. What could have been?
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be Corey Horsburgh this week. You'd be avoiding Ricky Stewart at all costs after what he said. I'm not sure Ricky says that if Corey's not leaving the club either, by the way.
No.
I think he comes out and he knows that Corey's going to be going, and he has got that in him, and he speaks about... He refers to earlier in the season when the team was selfish and self-indulgent.
Yeah.
And I think that's a direct shot at other players in the joint, but it's easy to go at Corey Horsburgh because he's leaving the club.
Yeah.
I think he probably regrets it a little bit now, but I wouldn't care if I was Corey Horsburgh. I would be avoiding Ricky Stewart at all costs during this week. So, it was a hell of a blow-up from Ricky Stewart, and I guess that comes with being minor premiers last year and going to miss out on the final series and the pressure of it. But he's not wrong, Ricky, by the way. He's not wrong. We watched Alex Twal do it to Salmon a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, and he got sin-binned, and you just can't raise your hands and strike somebody in the face, and it's not even a closed fist anymore. It's a slap, isn't it?
Yeah. You just can't do it.
Yeah. So a tough one for the Raiders. But again, the Knights knock it off, but they'll have to defend better in the final series. Well,
they go up against the Gold Coast Titans on Sunday. The Newcastle Knights do. They're sitting sixth place, just behind the Dolphins. So I see the Dolphins and the Knights making the playoffs now. I think the Knights win this game on the weekend as well against the Titans. Yeah. For the Raiders, they travel away to the Cronulla Sharks, which we're going to go on to. That was the final game of the round, Game 8 on Sunday. Dragons 24, Sharks 16. Surprised?
Absolutely. The kick up the arse, I think Craig Fitzgibbon refers it to the kick up the arse that the club or the players might need. Yeah. You don't see them results come in. You don't see a team that's been clocking up points come in. I think the greatest thing for the Sharks is to lose this game and have the kick up the arse. For all the talk of Nico Hines' record to be out of the window, they can just reset a little bit. It'd have been an interesting review, a really interesting review in the Sharks, because if I was Craig Fitzgibbon, I'd have gone after the players.
Yeah.
I'd have gone after them and let them know that, there's some deficiencies in their game that they need to fix up before finals football. Otherwise, it becomes a season again that peters out at the end of it, losing one or two playoff games in succession, and you're out of the competition.
Well, it was such an important game for the Sharks, though. That's what got to me, because looking at the league table, they're still sat in fourth place, but now it's just on points difference because the Dolphins have caught up to them. So they could very easily drop out of that top four, and that is massive. If the Sharks were to lose, that's so important for the final series. But during the game, it was 12-10 to the Dragons at half-time, so they just weren't on it from the off. And then Fanua Blake got a sin bin with 10 minutes to go. That was just vital. And it just got from worse, as Hines missed his kick as well to break the world record. So it was just all bad all around. But yeah, the Sharks have got a very important week this week. They go up against the Raiders side, who were unlucky against the Knights. But you look at that game now and you think the Sharks have to win. It's a must-win.
It's a must-win, and particularly after you lose a game and you allow the team behind to close that gap. Yeah. As you've said, the Dolphins are breathing down the Sharks' necks now, and it's imperative that when you lose a game, you win the next one. We saw that with the Cowboys when they were beaten handsomely, 80 points plus by the Roosters. Yeah. It's important that you win the next game, and it doesn't matter how you win this one. I think it's important that you win this one no matter how, and then you brush up on performances leading into the final series. But yeah, it's going to be a real interesting end to the regular season.
It is. Well, that wraps it up for round 23 for the Indigenous round this week. Please remember to like and subscribe and drop your comments in on all your opinions to do with the NRL, the games past and obviously the upcoming, and whether you agree with us or don't agree with us, we're happy to take all comments on board. So it's now time to get into the Super League news. If you enjoyed this segment, the full 90-minute podcast with all 5 segments is linked below, where we discuss the latest Super League and NRL news and results, plus the bonus segment of Question Cookie each week. Don't forget to subscribe, click the bell icon to be notified of all future content uploaded by NRL Insight UK. Thank you for your continued support, and see you on the next one.